Most people don't know what's holding them back, but you do because you listen to me, Sam, your self-care guru and journal junkie. Welcome to Journal Entries, your safe place where you can tune in weekly to get tips, tricks, and journal prompts to uncover your feelings, gain clarity, and make your move. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first journal entry of 2025. Have you already given up on your 2025 goals? We are officially 1 week in, and I'm going to share some stats with you here in a little bit that are shocking of when people fall off their resolutions. But I also want to ask to see how many of you, and shoot me a DM over on Instagram at samantha.s.says after this, because some of you might have not even set any resolutions because maybe you're tired of going all in, burning out, and then starting over. Or you just don't believe that you're going to reach the goals, and so you just don't set any goals. You're just kind of coasting in. I have been there. I've been the one to set the goals, to fall off, to set the goals, to keep going, and then to burn out and to then fall off. And then I've also been for many years, most recently, to not set any goals. And the root of it, if I was truly honest with myself, was because I didn't think I would achieve it. I was setting the same goals year after year after year, and I wasn't hitting them. And it became so discouraging that I was like, I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to set some good intentions or something for the year. I think this happens to so many of us. So first and foremost, I want to normalize that. If no matter what camp you're in, if you are super strong off towards your goals and crushing it, or if you have not set goals for whatever reason, we are diving into the all or nothing mindset today, that black and white mentality. And by the end of this episode, you will understand exactly why you keep falling off track, why you keep getting stuck in that mindset, and have a clear path forward. I will be mentioning my journaling community, Emotionally Empowered, throughout, but the reason that I am so into this black and white mentality right now, not just because of goal setting and just the statistic of people falling off, but when I opened Emotionally Empowered in May 1st of 2024, I was just asking the women inside, what is it that you want to work on? What do you struggle with? And literally every woman said that she struggles with going all in on something or she's all out in some capacity. And I'm finally delivering some help for you guys in this podcast episode. And it's the monthly theme inside Emotionally Empowered. So let's dig right in. Here are some signs to know if you are stuck in the all or nothing mindset, that black and white mentality. You might be telling yourself, I've already messed up, so I might as well start over on Monday. I can't tell you how many times I've said this with my fitness and nutrition. And not only that, but I was partnered with Beachbody for 11 years, I think. And this was like the premise of what all fitness and nutrition, not just coaches, but the industry thrives off of this messaging of start fresh on Monday, start fresh on, this new month. And I love the quote, you don't need a new month, you don't need a new year, you don't need a new Monday, you just need a new breath. Oh my gosh, that's not the quote, but it totally should be. I just made that up, everybody. You just need a new breath. Truly, you just need to start again, to choose. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, moving on. Because we're not even getting into the solution yet. But there you go. There you have one. So you may have told yourself that, I'll start again on Monday. Or maybe you give up totally. You also might feel like you're in the, what I call perfectionism paralysis. I used to feel this with posting content on social media. I would call it posting paralysis. I would feel like I would need to post the exact right picture or the right text with it, like the caption. I put so much stress on myself and focus on it that I wouldn't post at all. I've also done this with exercise. I've done this with activities with my son. I've wanted to do it the exact right way that I don't end up doing anything. I even downloaded a book of I think it was like 47 different activities to do with toddlers that helps them play independently, because that's a focus that I have for Griffin. And it says that there's not much setup time, but it's a lot of setup. It's more setup time than I do for Griffin currently. And I haven't done any of them yet, because it's this perfectionism of like, I need the right tape to do this activity, or I need the right magnet tiles to do it. I need the right dinosaurs. And it's like, you don't need dinosaurs. I could use cars instead. I don't need that tape. I have the same exact tape. It's just a different color, right? We just get stuck in this perfectionism mindset that we don't do it. Or maybe you've started a project, but you just feel stuck until it's complete. Or maybe you just have this black and white view of success and failure. Either you're a success or you're a failure. You're winning or you're not. So here are the stats that I mentioned. Did you know that 80% of moms feel like they're either crushing it or completely failing? Only 20% of moms can find that middle ground, that centeredness. They can find grace. They can find joy in that middle ground. 80% of moms are either feeling joy when they're crushing it, or they're feeling anxious and frustrated and discomfort when they feel like they're failing. Another stat is that 88% of people fail their New Year's resolutions within 2 weeks. This episode is airing on January 7th, which means we're 1 week in. That gives us one more week before typically 88% of people fail their resolutions, and then 95% of people fail by March. I am willing to say that so much of this failure is because of the black and white mentality. It's because these goals, they're not set in the right way, and then the emotions behind it are not energizing. They are not emotions that support the end goal. The emotions typically are short-sighted, they're short-lived, and they're only looking at the extreme goal. And this is exactly what we are exploring inside Emotionally Empowered. It's breaking free from this mindset, getting unstuck. I just opened up a special rate. It was normally $197 a month, and now it's only $47 a month for a limited time with a 7-day free trial. Never done before. This is the first time I've ever done a free trial, and it's for January only. So go click the link in the show notes to test out Emotionally Empowered for free for 1 week. Later in this episode, I'll break down like specifically what we're talking about inside Emotionally Empowered for each of these weeks and more about the community. But I want to talk about why this black or white mindset sabotages us. The more I shared the examples and talk about like how we're all in or all out, it can feel very personal, and it can feel like we are the ones doing this, like making these choices. I want to share the perspective, though, that it's actually not your fault, and it's not you. Our brains create these patterns for our protection, for us, to keep us safe, and they did this when we were children, when we were 5 to 7 years old. So the fact that you are all in or all out or stuck in perfection mode or whatever, it's part of your subconscious, which 95% of the things that we do, say, believe is from our subconscious. I was actually on a call with a woman last week, and she was a little bit frustrated that she wasn't or doesn't get to do the things that she wants to do. She was saying that she wants to spend time reading the Bible, even journaling a little bit. She was like, I have 5 journals and they're not even written in. She starts fresh with a new journal because she thinks that the new journal will inspire her. She has fancy pens even, she was saying, and they're collecting dust. But instead of doing these things, she's constantly picking up the house or cleaning, and she just feels very restless. She's like bouncing from thing to thing. And then at the end of the day, she goes to bed feeling deflated and overstimulated. With her specifically, I was telling her that I believe, just by chatting with her, that her top sabotage patterns are restlessness, which is jumping from thing to thing, controller, trying to control the end outcome and experiences that we have, and perfectionist, which is not to say that she's doing this on purpose. All of these things happened when she was a child. No matter what her childhood was like, those things are what her brain told her would keep her safe. When we don't acknowledge our own sabotaging patterns and then take to action to learn how they've been impacting us and how they currently impact us and then disrupt them, we will be repeating them because they are part of us. So it's our job to be aware of this. We can feel the way it impacts us, right? We know, we can feel this. It does not feel good. It feels frustrating. That's the biggest word for me that comes up. It just feels like we know we're doing this and we don't want to be doing it. But what we often forget is the cost that this thinking, that these self-sabotaging patterns, but also that this black and white mentality has on our kids, because they can sense our energy shift when we're in this mindset. They can sense our impatience. Also, the cost on our relationships and how we're missing out on precious moments because we're either all in or we're all out. We either go to the event and we're so there and we're so present, or we go half-hearted, really frustrated, wishing we were home on the couch, or we don't go at all, right? Also, the impact on our career growth. We are procrastinating, but it's masked as perfectionism. We think that we are doing a really good job and spending a ton of time planning and strategizing, when in reality, you just need to take action. You're procrastinating. Sorry if that stings for somebody. Also, it impacts your personal joy. Always waiting for that Monday, like we talked about, always waiting to start or restarting. Also, doom scrolling. And lastly, your daily peace, or even our bodies, are impacted as our daily habits change when we are stuck so deeply in this all or nothing mindset. One of our emotionally empowered members actually recently shared with me how she finally broke free from this cycle. She had the all or nothing mindset when it came to helping others. And so I loved this because it's more so from the perspective of people pleasing. She would bend over backwards for other people. Through our work together and the journal prompts that I would share with her, she was able to prioritize herself and design her own balance. You know, I do hate the word balance. I feel like I use it a lot. I need to find another word, but I love designing it. She created a way that it felt good for her. And a great example of this was her brother was getting married, and she was really busy at this time of her life when her brother was getting married. And she decided that she was going to help out by making these adorable donuts with like cowboy boots on them. So she made these donuts for the rehearsal dinner for her brother's wedding, but she couldn't actually attend the rehearsal dinner. And she was getting so much backlash from her family on not attending the rehearsal dinner. But she chose to not attend, and she had zero guilt about it because she wasn't in the all or nothing mentality. She wasn't in the pleasing. She knew that for her and the feelings that she wanted to feel, she was prioritizing helping out by providing the donuts and attending the wedding. And she had the best time ever. Another quick example is from a client who used to tackle cleaning her bathrooms all at once. And then she would need like a full day to recover from that. And then she'd feel like she needed to start all over again with the cleaning because it would get dirty all over again with her two boys. And it was like a huge project every time to clean. Now she's found this balance and this like centeredness and calmness, not the black and white mentality, with cleaning her bathrooms a little at a time so that it's manageable and she feels better about it. And her house feels cleaner too. So here is the breakthrough framework, if you will. The first step is awareness. And I personally do this through journaling, simply becoming aware of the areas that you have this black and white mentality. So often, we don't even question it. We think it's just who we are. We think we need to set these drastic goals. Step 2 is identifying your personal sabotaging patterns. There's actually a quiz that I've mentioned before, and I will include a link to that quiz in the show notes where you can answer these questions. And it even says, like, don't overthink it, answer these as quick as possible. And it will tell you what your top saboteurs are. So that's really, really interesting. I would love for you to take that and then DM me with what your top saboteurs are. If you want to set up a call, I will help you start to break through that for free. But step 3 is then reframing your mindset. Like I mentioned, this is what we're diving into inside Emotionally Empowered this month. And we are officially in week 1, but I want to give you something tangible on this podcast episode. And so the quick win that you can give yourself if you are stuck in the all or nothing mindset is the both or and approach. For example, you can choose to believe I can be both a work in progress and worthy of celebration. It's the whole two things can be true at once. You can feel lonely and grateful at the same time. So if you believe that about your emotions, bringing that to the things that you're trying to achieve. You can be a work in progress and celebrate yourself along the way. I am currently working on a personal project. It's not for work. I'm beyond excited to share this with you because I am pushing through, busting through so many self-sabotaging behaviors that have held me back for 2 years. But since it does deal with other people, I'm going to wait until it is finalized before sharing this with you. And I will share it with you first on the podcast. But yesterday I was working on this project and there are many steps to it. And I was working on it for a couple hours. At the end of the day, I needed to start wrapping up to go pick up Griffin from his sitter. And I was doing some dishes because I wanted to do that before leaving to get Griffin. My house was a mess, and I was like, the one thing I really want to do is clean up the kitchen. That would make me feel a little bit more peaceful and calm. As I was doing the dishes, in my head, I was judging myself and saying, I didn't get it all done. I need to do this. I wish I did that. I am going to forget to do this. Maybe I should do it later tonight, even though I really don't want to. And it was just this negative self-talk, and it did not feel good, even though I got a lot of it done. I realized that I don't need to do it all right now. In fact, one of my top saboteurs is the hyperachiever. There are ways to disrupt each saboteur, and there's ways within each of those disruptors that help you. And within the hyperachiever, the key element is to not complete the whole thing. And so with this project that I'm working on, I remembered this as I was washing the dishes, and I chose to celebrate the fact that I did not complete it. And my whole energy shifted from I didn't do it all, I have more to do, I suck, to I did a lot and I didn't do it all. And that's a good thing. The fact that I didn't do it all means that I'm working through it. And it felt so good. I hope that made sense. I hope I didn't lose you on that. If I did, but you're interested in it, that's what we'll talk about on a call with your own saboteurs. But anyways, I want to give you a mini journal prompt for you to try. So take out the notes app of your phone or Google Docs, or if you have your journal open, jot these down. Where in my life have I stopped doing something or believing something because I felt like I had to do it perfectly, or it required too much of me? I find that this is typically the area where the all or nothing mindset is triggered. We think, oh my gosh, that is so big. That is such a big project. It requires so much of me that I'm not going to do it at all. And even think of it in terms of a weight loss goal. Maybe you want to lose 100 pounds and oh my gosh, that is so much. I might as well just keep eating chips every day. Or maybe back to my example with activities for Griffin, I felt like I had to do those activities perfectly. So I haven't done any of it. The second prompt, can I find a middle ground? Can I do it imperfectly? Can I do less work? So just kind of taking different angles of what is that middle ground? Can you do that? And still choose to feel proud. So can I find a middle ground and still choose to feel proud? So for my examples, can I choose the simplest activity for Griffin, do it imperfectly with maybe not the dinosaurs that it said, replace it with cars with different tape, and do it for 5 minutes instead of 15 minutes and still be proud? Yes, I can do that. Or maybe if the person was looking to lose 100 pounds, can you make it smaller? Can you set the goal first to lose 2 pounds? Yes, you could do that. Or 50 pounds, whatever sounds better for you. And the last prompt, prompt number 3, would that feel better than not doing it at all? This last prompt just gets your brain to start that shift of hopefully the answer is yes. And then let yourself spiral a little bit. Maybe you're going to start to think of all the ways that you have been missing out on not pursuing this goal, or of a new way that you could start pursuing it, where if the goal was only 2 pounds, you could do that this week. And you've spent how long now not trying to lose 100 pounds because it felt too big? I've spent how long now not doing that activity book with Griffin? I probably bought that 6 months ago. I've spent 6 months not doing those activities, and I could literally set one up today when I pick him up from the sitter. And that would feel so much better. It would feel like it was worth the money that I actually paid for it. Here is what I know for sure. You are either going to keep repeating this cycle of the all in or all out mindset, or you're going to try something different. The journal prompts that I just provided will help you begin to make that shift and even give you action items to do that. If you're ready for more change, I would love to see you inside Emotionally Empowered. Again, we've temporarily dropped our price from $197 a month to $47 a month. And it starts with a 7-day completely free trial. You can cancel anytime. The link is in the show notes to join us. And if you join us this week, you'll jump right into week 1, which is about breaking free from the all or nothing thinking with self-worth and body image. The following weeks are motherhood and family, career and personal growth, and then relationships and boundaries. I hope to see you inside Emotionally Empowered, but if not, and you loved this episode, please rate this podcast or leave a review. I am really trying to grow this podcast and get more people listening this year. It's a really big focus of mine because I want to be that person to help people feel the shift inside. And I know that journaling, even for just 2 minutes a few days a week, can do that. Next week's episode is all about why dry January does not work for moms and my perspective on that. So I will see you next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's journal entry. I love connecting with my listeners, so make sure you screenshot this episode and tag me on Instagram at samantha.s.says so I know you're listening. And don't forget to grab your free training and journal prompts at www.samanthapenkoff.com/podcast.